Hello and welcome to the Flourishing Center podcast. I'm Emiliya Zhivotovskaya, your host and founder of the Flourishing Center. We are training the change agents of the world and equipping them with research-based tools for healthy, happy, and successful living. And we're so grateful that you're here.
This is your Flourishing Friday, where every Friday we bring you a positive psychology-based life hack that will help you to thrive. We look at real-life application of positive psychology while giving you different strategies, tips, and steps to put the science into practice.
Thanks for listening, and let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Today's Flourishing Friday is about helping you be more effective and present when you are needing to change gears through multiple activities throughout the day. This is something that I'm sharing with you because so many of my students and my friends often ask me about how I do this. And it makes me a little timid to actually share this with you because I think to myself, really, is this kind of worth sharing? Is this something that just sort of I do, or is this something other people can do? And it's kind of embarrassing to be like, hey, here's this thing that I do really well. Why don't you do it like I do? So please take this Flourishing Friday with a grain of salt. I'm not by any means telling people that you need to live your life in this way, nor am I telling you that I always live my life in this way. However, one of the things that I feel like I've been kind of known for over the years is how I can do so many different things at times, not always, but at times over the course of a single day, or go from things in like a back-to-back-to-back type of manner and seem to excel in it and thrive in it. And I'll give you just a recent example. And like I said, this is not usually how I go about my day every day, but there is some element of my days and my weeks are often full. So just a few days ago, I was doing some work out in California, and I had a speaking engagement in Toronto, and I needed to fly on the red eye from California into Toronto. I had to take about an hour-long cab ride to get to where I needed to go, and I just had one of those beautifully, magically timed days where the flight was early, got on everything that I needed to get to, got in the car, got some work done in the car on my way down to where my speaking engagement was, got to where I needed to go because I was on the red eye, took a quick shower, found a place to get my hair blown out before I went on stage, which is a very important thing to me because I like to feel or embody a certain persona, which Emiliya with straight hair happens to experience a bit more. And then I needed to teach a class. My students had an online class with me. So I got to the venue where I was speaking, got set up in a quiet little room ahead of time, did my class with my students online via Zoom. This is our coaching certification program. And then about 5 to 10 minutes later, needed to be up on stage to start the workshop I was giving because I had a tight window and it was the only way to make it work. And so then I finished the class, went on stage and delivered a workshop on a totally unrelated topic. Not unrelated. It was still within the frame of positive psychology, but it wasn't what I was just teaching, and went on and continued to teach for about 3 hours, obviously taking a bathroom break, and took a little break and then went on to then do another meeting that I had to be a part of, and then a coaching session, had some food in between then, and got some more errands done. And this is the kind of day where, I go to sleep at the end of the day with a smile on my face, a day of having had served, a day of having had taken good care of myself, doing the things I needed to do for me. And sometimes people go, Emiliya, how on earth do you just go from like one thing to another and be so present with the things that you need to do or excel at those things? And obviously one element of it is that the things I'm doing are things I have mastery over. So I've taught my coaching program now, we're going on to our 9th cohort in our coaching program. And the thing that I'm speaking on, I've been teaching for over 12 years. And so there's mastery over the content, and you can't avoid that. And there's mastery over doing sessions with my clients, and there's mastery over being in my meetings with my group. And what I want to share with you is that the way that I'm able to shift gears in this way, go from first gear and eventually get to third gear and get there rather quickly, is that mindfulness and centering practices have taught me and trained me in being able to shift gears with grace. And I really believe that we also can learn to shift gears with grace. And that doesn't mean that you need to pack your schedule the way that I sometimes do and have multiple things in order to feel like we shift gears with grace. But you can also use this with anything that you're doing. How well do you shift gears between I am working and I am driving home from work and I'm about to be with my kids for the rest of the night? How well do you shift gears from being your head and your heart in your work mode to your head and your heart and your body being in home mode? You are just got off a frustrating conversation with your significant other and you have to go into a business meeting. How well can you shift gears out of the emotionally charged place that you were in just a second ago to where you need to go into this business meeting? So it's not about filling your day with lots of things to do. It's how well can you shift gears with grace? And the more often on a day-to-day basis that I've practiced being mindful, being present, rather than being in my head and my thoughts when I catch myself being too caught up in ruminating or overthinking something, I think to myself, okay, what do I see, hear, smell, taste, touch, sense? This brings me into the present moment. I take a moment to connect with my breath. These types of things center and ground me, enabling me to be more present. And this idea of grounding, actually feeling your feet on the earth or onto the floor, feeling your hips being supported by your seat if you're sitting down. These are energetic practices that I use all the time. I was first really introduced to true grounding as an exercise when I was practicing Aikido, a nonviolent martial art that I practiced when I was in college. And Aikido was this art of learning how to center and ground and find your body's point of center, your point of gravity. And it trained me in learning how to center wherever I am. And so sometimes I have to do physical things to center. Like if I'm traveling a lot, one of the things that I will do is if I am staying at a location for more than 24 hours, I will always unpack my bags, even if it's just 2 days that I'm going to be there. I don't live out of a suitcase. That's very ungrounding for me. Taking my shoes off when I walk into a home or to a place helps me center, helps me ground. Breathing, feeling my feet, being really present. Getting body work done if I'm feeling uncentered. If my mind is all over the place, I ground by writing the things out that I need to do. I will sometimes need to ground by having a hearty meal, a heavier meal to help me feel the weight of the earth within me. So there's lots of ways that we can do that. And so I want to invite you to consider how well do you transition between the different points of focus within your life, and what are the things that you could do that can help get you into a state of greater mindfulness and centering. So I hope some of these techniques and strategies are inviting to you. I encourage you to maybe just start with noticing how grounded and centered are you in the things that you're doing. So rather than trying to change any behavior, trying to do more mindfulness or trying to ground more, look at yourself in the different points of your day, the different things that you do, and just check in and ask yourself, how grounded am I? How well am I shifting gears from one thing to another? Am I still present? Am I ruminating about a conversation with somebody else while talking to someone new? Are you doing some mundane task, but in your mind are worrying about things? Ask yourself, how well am I shifting gears in the things that I do? And then explore these grounding strategies to gear shift with grace. Hope this is helpful, and I wish you an incredible Flourishing Friday.
This episode is brought to you by the 5i Change Agent Quiz. Our research shows that there are 5 personality types for people that love to help others. Take this short 20-item test to find out which type you are and download your free roadmap to learn about the obstacles your change agent type faces and how to overcome them. Learn more at theflourishingcenter.com/change agent.
thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I want to encourage you to tell us, what would you love to hear more about? Is there an area of positive psychology you would love to get some more information on in terms of the research? Give us a shout out at info@theflourishingcenter.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you a wonderful flourishing day.